This is Unit 7, Section 4 notes. This is properties of logarithms, or just properties of logs. If you just want to call it that, that's fine. Alright, so we only have this one page. Sweet. You know, I write these and I forget what order I go in, so that's why if I sound confused, it's just been a while since I've looked at them. Okay, so condensing logarithms. Well, let's get some notes going first. So if I ever have, let's say, if I'm condensing, if I have log, let's say of some number, right, plus log of some other number, and I want to condense that, I would write that as log the first number times the second number. Okay? So if I add logs, I just multiply the numbers into one log. Okay, if I have log of some number minus log of another number, you probably guessed it, I would do log of the first number divided by the second number. And let's see, I think the last thing that I would do, or that I need to know, okay, is if I have, let's say, some number times a log, I can condense that or rewrite that as the log of that number and then the exponent. So pretty much here, my a becomes the exponent, okay? So I don't know if you want to write something, oh, don't do that. If you want to write something else, this just comes up here. So if I have a number in front, it becomes the exponent when I'm condensing. Okay, these are the three things that you need to know in order to condense. So adding is multiplying, subtracting is dividing, a number in front becomes the exponent. Those are the only really three things you have to know. Okay, so let's look at number one. So the first thing that I would look for, I would do numbers in the front, because you'll have to move those before you can do anything else. Okay, so I have this 2 in the front. That 2 will come up here and become the exponent for 3. So I would have log 3 of 6 plus log 3 of 3 squared. Okay? Now, if you want, I can do the 3 squared now. I can do it later. It really doesn't matter the order from here. I'm going to go ahead and condense them. So because I have a plus, that means I'm going to write the 1 log, and then I'm going to do 6 times 3 squared. 6 times 3 squared. Okay, so that gives me log 3 of 6 times 9. And so my final answer, I just multiply those. You get log 3 of 54. And that's my answer. So all I'm doing is just condensing. I don't have to solve anything. There's no x. I'm just getting them down to one single log. Alright, next one. So notice I have a number in front, but I have parentheses. So this kind of works just like PEMDAS. I have to do parentheses first. Okay? So I'm going to leave the 1/3 out front. And then I have log 9. Okay, now I have a minus, so that's divide, and I'm going to divide 48 by 6. Okay? Ooh. So 48 divided by 6. Okay? Now again, I can divide 48 by 6 and then move the 1/3, or I can move the 1/3 and then do 48 divide. It doesn't really matter. I'm going to go ahead and move it. 1/3 is going to come up here. So you get log 9. 48 divided by 6 to the 1/3. Okay? Now let's divide 48 and 6. So we get log 9. 48 divided by 6 is 8. And that's to the 1/3. And then of course, I know 1/3, right? 8 to the 1/3 is the same thing as cube root. And then the cube root of 8 is simply 2. So our actual final answer would be log 9 of 2. So if you have an exponent, you still have to do the exponent. That's part of condensing, because you want to leave as much, or you don't want to leave a whole bunch of stuff out. That would not be simplified completely, right? So if you have an exponent, if it's squared or if it's cubed or if it's an exponent like this, then go ahead and do the exponent. If anything, at least rewrite it to be like this, but then I can do cube root of 8 and it's 2, so I can go a little further. And I will say I've written all these questions so they can all condense down to a number just like that. Alright, number 3. So again, I have a minus and a plus, but I have to do parentheses. So I'm going to go ahead and just write log 5 of 60 minus, okay, then these two condense to log 5. And again, I have a plus, so that's times, so 2 times 6. Now if you just want to write 12 because you don't want to show all your work, that's fine. I can just write log 5 of 12. I'll know what you did. But I'm going to go ahead and show the work just for those that need it. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and multiply before I divide just because it's easier to have one number instead of 2. So log 5, so 2 times 6 is 12. Alright, now I can condense those. So I have log 5, and I have a minus, so that's divide. 60 divided by 12. So again, if you just want to write 5, that's fine. So I can divide that. I get log 5 of 5. And this is a special thing right here. That actually equals 1. And you're probably like, wait a minute, you haven't told us that. Where'd that come from? Well, that's why I wait until it shows up. If I give it everything to you in the front, then it's just too much information, so I give it to you as it comes up. So log 5 of 5 equals 1. Why? There are special logs that you need to know that you will see, and these will come up, I promise, because I made these questions. So the first one is if I have log and there's some base, right, some number, but then I have the same number, so if these numbers match, my answer is just 1. Okay? That's the first special log. That will show up. My second special log that I have is if I have any base and then this number is ever 1, that actually equals 0. And again, that will show up as well. So you need to be on the lookout for these. So if I ever have these two the base and the number matching, or if I have a base with any base with a 1, I have to change those to a 1 or 0. Otherwise, it's not condensed all the way. So be careful for that. Watch out for that. Those are the only two that you have to watch out for. So if they match or you ever get a 1, you got to change it, and then that's it. Okay, so that's condensing. So now let's expand. Expanding is the same thing. I'm just going backwards now, right? So I want to expand everything out. So now I'm not going to rewrite the rules because we're going to use the same rules as above. We're just going to go backwards now. So the first thing that I would do on here is if I ever have an exponent like this, I would go ahead and distribute this exponent to both letters inside the parentheses. Okay, so that gives me log 9 a to the 8th and then b to the 8 times 2, so 16. Okay, that's the first thing I would do. Distribute any exponents. And if you need to write these steps down and make a list, that's fine. Do that. I'm just telling you what I do in order. So I do exponents first. Now I separate them. So I'm either going to separate them to add or separate to subtract, depending on if I'm multiplying or dividing. Because I'm multiplying on this one, that will be adding. So I'm going to have log 9 of a to the 8th plus log 9 of b to the 16th. The reason I add is because it's a times b. Okay, my last step. I don't want exponents. I want to take my exponents and stick them out front. So these two numbers are going to go out here. Then I will be done. So my 8 comes out here. I have 8 log 9 of a. And if you want to keep the parentheses, you can. It doesn't hurt. And then 16 log 9 of b. that would be my final answer. So I'm not sure which way is easier, condensing or expanding. To me, they're about the same. I think this probably seems like less work. It might be, I don't know. But anyways, so that's how you expand. Let's try a different one. Notice this one's dividing, so I will be subtracting. But the first thing I'm going to do is distribute this 4. So 4 times 6, 4 times 3. So I'm going to write log 8. And then I have a to the 24 on top and b to the 12 on bottom. Okay, now I can separate them, and because I'm dividing, I will be subtracting. So I have log 8, and then a to the 24th minus log 8, and then b to the 12th. And then, of course, last thing, exponents always go out front. So my final answer, 24 times log 8 to the a minus 12 times log 8 to the b. That's it. And again, you can use parentheses on the end. You don't have to have them because there's nothing else, but again, it never hurts to put them there, but it might hurt you later if you forget on certain situations. So if you always put them there, it'll always be okay. Alright, this one, I put this one on here on purpose because just like the one above where we had the cube root, nope, that's not that one. This one, where we had the cube root. Notice the cube root, and it was a fraction exponent before. So now we're doing that on this one. I have a square root. Okay, square roots are fraction exponents. So to me, the easiest way is just knowing what the index is. And remember, if I don't have an index, it's 2. So when I rewrite this, I'm going to rewrite as log 4, and then I'm going to just divide each exponent by the index. So a 9 over 2, b 6 over 2. Alright, now I can, if you want, you can reduce the exponents. If you can, that's fine. Or you know what, let's go ahead and split it up. I'll do that first. You can do it in any order you want to, really, from here. So I'm multiplying, so I know I'm going to add. So I have log 4, so a to the 9/2 plus log 4 b, and then 6 divided by 2 is just 3, so I'm just going to write that. And then, of course, last thing, exponents go in the front. So my answer is 9 over 2 times log 4 of a plus 3 times log 4 of b. And that is my final answer. So that's all we're practicing today, is condensing, condensing and expanding logarithms. So please practice. This takes a lot of practice to get down. It's not hard, you just have to practice. That's it. If you have any questions, let me know.